Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 103 of Total Retail Talks. In today's episode, Executive Editor of Total Retail Joe Keenan sits down with Natalie Brown, Director of Experiential Marketing for Sur La Table, at this year's Total Retail Roundtable in Seattle. Listen in as they discuss experiential marketing, its partnership with Instacart, and content marketing. And now, on to the show.
Just tell us a little bit about your background and now your current role at Sur La Table.
Yeah. So, lifetime brand advocate, passion about brands. Worked in many different areas of marketing, and right now I'm with Sur La Table as Director of Experiential Marketing.
So it's just a perfect segue into this question. So that title, Director of Experiential Marketing, sort of reflects a growing trend in retail. Being an experiential brand and trying to create these experiences for customers, rather than just selling them products. So can you talk about what experiential marketing means for Sur La Table and, how you try to bring that to life? Absolutely.
For me, it really is taking the brand to the customer across all the touch points. So really an omni-channel branded experience, whether you're top of the funnel, just discovering us, whether you're coming to us for your first purchase, or it's many classes in that you've been a loyal customer and taken our cooking classes, and really that driving that loyalty down the bottom of the funnel, but taking it through the brand filter. So it's an on-brand, consistent experience, and every time you come back, no matter what that touch point is, it feels like something you know and trust, because trust is a really important thing, and you really feel comfortable and familiar, and you're always educated and inspired and delighted by us, because we really feel that we are a company who is there for every chef, no matter your level, your home cook or chef, if you're just starting out or you're already a very good cook, at every step across your culinary journey. And we really want to be there to educate you and inspire you and delight you.
So one of the things that in our conversation in advance of this event was Sur La Table recently partnered with Instacart. So let's talk a little bit about that collaboration, why it makes sense for the brand, what you hope to, how it can benefit your customers. Talk a little bit about your recent deal with Instacart.
So obviously, the first benefit is that it allows us to compete with the instant delivery. So you can get stuff from a local Sur La Table store delivered to you by a personal Instacart shopper within sometimes 2 hours or less, but it's same day. So that really helps take away a lot of the obstacles for immediacy that people are seeking nowadays. But for me, the part that I find really compelling and intriguing, it goes back to the idea of I may be sitting at my desk thinking about what's for dinner tonight, do a quick search, find a great recipe, I'm really inspired, I want to try it. I can go to Instacart, get all the ingredients, but I need an XYZ, I need a certain roasting pan, or I need a zester, and I don't have that. Well, now it's really easy. We're just piloting it right now. We're looking to roll it out at the end of the month across pretty much all of our stores. But now I can go online, I can get my groceries, and then in my cart I can add the zester, the roasting pan, all the bits and pieces I need, even some of our food items that we sell that are unique to Sur La Table, some of our baking mixes, and I can have it delivered by my concierge shopper at my home, and I'm ready. I just come home, hit the ground running. So I think, for people who are time-strapped or locationally challenged, you're working in a different part of the city, Sur La Table maybe doesn't have a store that's really close to you, you are still able to go home and act out on that inspiration and make that amazing meal and have that incredible memory with your family, and we're not going to be held back by something like, I don't have a zester to execute this.
Will that be app-based? Will it be available on the desktop site, both?
Yeah, so Instacart works through app and desktop, so it runs fully through the Instacart platform.
Okay, it's fully through.
And we're the first non-grocery retail partner that they've brought on board. Okay. And so it's a really great partnership because it's done obviously around our geo-targeted locations in cities, and the personal shoppers come right into the store. And our store associates either have the bag of goodies ready for the shopper to go, or if something's not available, then the shopper will call the Instacart customer and find out what they would like as a substitute, and then our store associate will help them complete the purchase and have the transaction ready to go for the customer.
Right. So you alluded to the fact that Sur La Table wants to be known as more than a company that's just selling kitchenware products.
Yes.
You've done a lot of work with Habitat for Humanity. You have your culinary school. So can you talk about that corporate philosophy and being more than just a brand that's selling product? And maybe you could briefly touch on some of the examples that I just mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. Sur La Table is an interesting history. It was started in 1972 here in Seattle in Pike Place. And Shirley Collins, our founder, she was a cook, and she would travel to Europe and come back with all these interesting implements. And it's before the internet, obviously, and all her friends who were also cooks wanted to know where she got all these sort of interesting niche tools to do different cooking functions. So we really started as a company that was merchant-driven and driven kind of the specialty, the hardware store for cooks, if you will, like the specialty retailer. And then as we kind of progressed along our path, we evolved into a cooking school. We opened up cooking school locations within our stores. So we really are kind of like this 8 walls within 4 walls, because we have the retail floor and then the whole cooking school environment. And what has been amazing is the transformation for us as a brand, because the cooking school is this incredible experience, and people come to us, as I said earlier, it doesn't matter whether they're just learning. So we sell you the knife, you take a knife skills class, we teach you to use the knife, and then we'll keep sharpening your knife. So your whole journey, you come and you spend it with us. But we still didn't really have a clear direction as far as sort of where the brand was going from a brand purpose. And last year we did a lot of research, and we really focused on the golden circle and the 3 layers of selling, and our why statement that we came up with was just so powerful, and it's because life happens around the table. And it really empowered us to look at things in a different way through different lenses. So it's not so much about selling you the greater, but what do I do with this greater? How do I make these memorable meals with people I love? And food is such the common denominator, right? You always end a party in a kitchen. You always bring people together around your table. And so we were looking for ways to activate upon this for our brand. And we wanted to do something, as soon as we rolled out this brand vision to our company-wide, the employees came to us, and especially our millennial employees, and they wanted to know, they were like, this is great, but how do you activate on this? Kind of, where do you put your money where your mouth is? Like, how do you make a meaningful difference? So we were looking to do something in the corporate social responsibility world that met the criteria of it being national, but also meeting that criteria about enabling life to happen around the table. And Habitat for Humanity is incredible because their whole purpose is to really enable people through, in their lives, through stable housing. So really kind of meeting the housing crisis and putting people in stable positions where they just do better, their kids do better, they have a stable life. And the kitchen is the home of the heart. So for us, the idea of being able to partner with Habitat and put people in stable housing where they have the opportunity to have families and meals with their families around their tables and nourish each other in very real ways. So not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally through the connection of food, just made incredible sense. And it just so happened that Habitat for Humanity was starting this, their first US-only campaign in April. It just happened, called Home is the Key, where they were focused on the housing shortage problem of affordable housing in the US. And so we were one of their inaugural partners in Home is the Key. And we have been collecting donations in store and online. We also partnered with one of our cookware brands, ScanPen. They did a donation in kind, buy and give back. So for every purchase of ScanPen in April, they gave back 3% of sales up to a donation cap. And so we have been working towards a goal of $250,000 for Habitat for Humanity to use solely in the US to put people into affordable, stable housing so that we can empower them in that way to have those experiences with their families around their table. So live their life around their own tables.
Yeah. Certainly admirable. So another big initiative at the company is content.
Yes.
So talk about how Sur La Table is using content as a marketing tool. And another sort of news item is that you've recently launched a TV show on the FYI network, correct?
Yes, it actually premiered on Sunday night.
Oh, okay.
So it's a very exciting thing that we've been working on. And I think Again, so for us, content is so interesting because there's the usual recipe content, and whenever we put out an email, if it has a recipe, it's the most clicked on part of the email. We know what works. We know people come to us for the recipes, the tips, the tricks, the hacks. But how do you take it beyond? And again, how do you kind of have this ecosystem where people are coming to you and they're learning something new, and then they trust you and want to be with you because you're a brand that represents things that are important to them. And I'm lucky enough to have a chef on my team. Actually, our national chef works for me, and he has this incredible vision that just came to life. So in restaurants, you don't make money if you throw things away. You save the ends of your vegetables and you make vegetable stock with it, and you're always repurposing. And so he obviously is as a chef, and he taught in our culinary school in New York. He ran that culinary school. So he has always seen like how to process ingredients so they're not seen as waste. But he also became very involved in the ugly food movement, and it's a really sad statistic, like 40% of food gets thrown away, not because it's inedible, but because it looks bad, or people just don't want to eat it because it's not pretty. So his idea is really to go out there and teach people how no waste cooking with kitchen scraps, or as he says, I'm the champion of the bruised, the beaten, the back of the fridge. Yeah. And I think, so the show Scraps is incredible. It's 10 cities, and he goes into a city and he meets up with a food champion, and he goes and does things like takes the shrimp shells and makes shrimp shell infused butter and puts it over fresh oysters that he's cooking. Or he makes a coleslaw with the broccoli stems. And so I think the idea of people want to be able to use more than just the bits that look good or are nice or are suggested in the recipe. But where do you start? How do you do it? So again, this is that idea of empowerment that we're trying to go after. And so that's what's amazing about Scraps. So what's great is it's this great TV show. You get really inspired. You see these incredible meals, these feasts that he throws at the end. But the real secret to me and the magic in Scraps is how we then tie it back to Sur La Table. So we have a series of online cooking classes. If you're, about half of our locations have an actual cooking class in the store, but they don't all. So for people who aren't near a physical location, or people who want to buy a class and have it in their library and keep it and refer back to it, we now have this series of online cooking classes that we're starting. So the magic of Scraps is that for each one of the 10 cities and each one of these feasts, we now have an online cooking class. And the format is great because it's instructor-led, so it's Joel plus a student, and that's when the magical teaching moments happen. The student may be holding the knife wrong, and just that simple correction, and you seeing it happen, you may suddenly unlock the fact that you're also holding your knife, not correctly. Mm-hmm. So it has all these teaching moments, and each episode has a cooking class, so you can get inspired by Joel in Charleston. By the episode, you have all the recipes, exactly how to make it, it's funny because I've actually transformed the way I've been cooking since I've been watching the episodes as we're going into release. It's made me see ingredients in a new way and cook differently and start keeping the entire vegetable. So I think it's going to be a very powerful thing. And again, it's about these incredible feasts with friends and family, but also how do you go beyond just the scope of cooking to a recipe and make it something that's really good. It's trying to help combat food waste and change the way people see food and food waste.
So this all seems to be coming back to you're driving, obviously, awareness of the brand and driving people into that kind of purchase funnel and trying to acquire customers through this. So can you talk about what you're doing to kind of close the loop and get these people in there and create awareness for the product, and then eventually, hopefully, get them to make a purchase?
Yeah. I think, again, it goes back to, so there's a few areas. The one is it goes back to the experience. We're not necessarily just trying to get out there and sell you a new knife for the sake of a new knife. We're trying to arm you with, firstly it's the education, right? Here are the different kinds of knives and why this knife would be good for you versus another person. Then it's, how do I use this knife? And then how do I care for the knife? And then that continued relationship of, well, we have knife sharpening and we have other great classes. So it's really a continuum, and it's a relationship. And I think, I mentioned it earlier, trust. It's really building up trust that we are an expert in the field and we're here to guide you and help you. And if we serve you well, then you're going to tell your friends about it. And your friends who also are going to be hopefully interested in food and want to throw amazing experiences around their own tables are going to come to us too, because we're trustworthy, we give you great advice, and we really follow through with everything you need from the recipes and also in store, empowering our store associates to really be there and guide you every step of the way. And if you come back in because you've got questions, you're not a hassle, you're not a bother. Like, it's a great interaction. We want to keep, and a lot of the people who work in our stores actually have culinary degrees, are involved in the food industry, they're foodies. So they're passionate and excited too, and they want to keep helping you and keep helping you learn and keep you engaged in the whole process of food and making food and sharing around food.
Thanks for listening. For more information on today's episode, be sure to visit our podcast channel page at www.mytotalretail.com/podcast for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play, but please remember to subscribe to our podcast channel page as well. Lastly, don't forget to connect with us on social, on Twitter at MyTotalRetail, and on Facebook at facebook.com/MyTotalRetail. Until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.